Hey everyone, welcome back. We're here with a quick little reading. I wanted to make just a little update. I wanted to talk about some astrological shifts that are taking place, more or less as we speak. Trying to get the slide on here, okay. And no pun intended. All right, and I hope you are all doing well. We are just trailing out of trying to trail out of those full moon of Pisces energies. Boy, what a wave, right? What a culmination. Oh my, how are you guys feeling? And how have you been feeling? Let's say I was really kind of wanted to pose this question. How are you feeling in sort of stages? Because that the full moon new moon cycle is really sort of. Alex, I have you on for today. Thank you guys so much for the personal readings who have been so patient. Thank you. All right, all divine timing, right? Okay, so I'll have you on the list of today, Alex. Thank you for tuning in. And so, and again, patience, everyone here. And so, yeah, it's been a wave, right? Really a wave of energy, and so we have to kind of like see it like that, move with it like that. Okay, it's like yes, it hits that high note of full moon on the technically the second, but then it cascades out, and then it has like a few bumps here and there possibly from time to time, and then it'll eventually also all sort of culminate again once more. So that's just the beauty of working with water energy when we think about even the moon itself, right? Cancer energy, fourth house energy, that is all about, and everybody has a moon sign, the internal sort of feminine, the sense sort of the receptive sort of being, right? The yin, and everybody again say it in this way at the time of your birth, right? It's not like just because let's say you identify as or with the yang archetype of masculine doesn't mean that the moon disappeared, right? In the sky, you're born with every sort of frequency and color just in a certain way, right? Filtering through your particular movie scene. Wow, very interesting. So I don't know what that's alluded to. It's all perspective, right? It's all perception, I guess, how you see yourself. So in the context in which you reside. Now, I wanted to say this really quickly because this has been a concept that's really been coming up strongly. So as during this sort of this wave. Okay. Now, I also want to say this before I say that. Imagine the ocean, right? If you actually imagine a wave in the ocean, is there like a sort of diametrical sort of force that moves the wave in a very sort of particular way, right? Or is it sort of if you ever answer it for yourself, or is it sort of impacted by things that we may not be able to see, things that we may not be able to touch? In other words, right? It's like, let's say this wave is moving in a certain direction. Let's say that you happen to be perceiving it at that moment in time from atop the ocean's sort of surface. Okay, let's say you're like a surfer and you're watching this wave, and we're looking at how it's moving. Who's to say that there might not be something also under the water? Like, let's say there's a whale that or another wave that passes by underneath the ocean. So, waves that we see, waves that we cannot see, things that impact what we experience that we may not be able to touch, taste, see, feel quite yet. So, that's the beauty of also energy. It does perceive physical matter, and this might just be some sort of symbolic period where we're sort of working with that space of consciousness. How is it that things are also brought forward, things are actually manifested, culminated, and created, right, prior to actually being able to observe them through the lens of the physical body? Interesting. So, for a number of you, it's been possibly a period where you're working with energy and how you feel it, how you're able to sense and almost even possibly prelude it, like sort of like sense, maybe even by way of premonition. Well, I feel like for whatever reason, and then you look at yourself, you're like, oh, isn't that kind of weird? Possibly from time to time, depending on how you work with the element of water in your own personal birth chart. And if you would like to work one-on-one with activating specifically, this is what we're talking about here around the full moon Pisces water energy, how it is that you connect to your receptive sort of empathic abilities, and you might want to work, let's say, again, with your birth chart, and we can do that one-on-one on the website Alchemy You. It is a water protocol. I think that's the name of that service. Okay. Back to there was one more thing that I wanted to say here. Yes. So around this time as well, right, and some of you, well, the full moon has already passed, but there definitely is still, it's not like, oh my god, full moon, okay, let's take a picture of it, freeze wave, hold on, I just need to get my camera out, take a picture of you right there, I'm gonna remember this full moon and Pisces for freaking ever, okay. Okay, no. Right, okay, the wave continues. The wave, that energy continues. You cannot destroy necessarily energy, right? So there is continuity to everything. And, what sort of happened in that so-called happened in that so-called moment will eventually also translate out in another way down the line. And, call it whatever you may. Call it karma. Okay, even, 12th house filters eventually back into the first. So, take it as you will. Let's clear it. But we're moving through Aries energy now with the moon cycle. But yet again, and in addition, you may find that these energies do culminate, if any reading, but sort of, whatever it may be, space of intention setting 6 months down the line. If you're like, well, I've set my intention, okay, that might take some, 6 to 8, even 11 months. I've noticed with the readings, you'll really, the theme of that energy of the reading will really start to pick up. You might start to observe that energy space about 6 to 8 months down the line, maybe even 11 months. All right, so let's jump into it. Yet again, I wanted to bring up this concept. It comes down to the theory. I'm hearing it this way: the theory of guilt. Now, when you think about guilt, what does that even sort of relate to? What is it I'm hearing respond to? What is it a reaction to? And sometimes it can be really helpful to, if we're in that state of mind where we're feeling a lot, or we're that period where we feel like we're really, really sort of emotional, reactive, it can be sometimes helpful to take that sort of isolated emotion, sort of isolate it and say, well, what exactly is this? Okay, so let's say for a number of you, let's say that, you feel something strongly, deeply. Let's say that you have an idea, a vision for something you want to create, and maybe let's say you come out with that. You're like, hey, this is what I want to do, and I want to go there, I'm here, I want to travel there, I want to do that, and, let's say you come out and you tell 5 people, okay? So you come forth and you sort of assert what you feel, okay? And then in that moment, right, let's say that there is a reaction to that space, okay? And let's say it's like, well, oh my gosh, are you really going to, are you really not going to be our friend anymore? I'm hearing that as well. Wait, so if you go and do X, Y, Z and whatever else, and then, this is let's say the tracing of emotion, how we recognize that we can feel certain emotions, where emotions actually reside in the actual I'm hearing experience. Interesting. Okay, flow, I'm hearing that sequence. So it's, in other words, it's like, where do emotions come from? If we are to trace the emotion itself, the energy, if we if we assign an energy space to an emotion, where is it that energy has come from? And really defining that can be quite helpful, especially when we're working with a heavy emotional period here. We not only have the full moon in Pisces we're moving through, we also have the Venus in Cancer, right, at the 29th degree, actually. And that's another thing that we were going to talk about here as we move into can't wait. Yes, I know, so excited. Venus and Leo. But before we get there, it's like, we have this sort of cascading up into, we have to do the justice here of the Cancer archetype with Venus and hitting its 29th degree. So, there is so much that possibly is to become also obvious and clear, and sometimes that's not easy, right? We experience, sometimes things intensely, and we have also certain cycles of working with that experience and that emotion, and that sometimes challenge and test us, and it is intense. It can feel intense, and so, but it's not without reason, of course. So, during these periods of time, it can be really helpful to take a sort of a backstage approach, I'm hearing this way, to what it is that you're actively experiencing, and that can sometimes feel really hard to do. Okay, especially for a number of you, when you're feeling kind of triggered and you're feeling kind of, and well, let's just give this example, right? Let's say that you got this amazing idea and whatever else, and let's say you at first you're really excited about that idea. Okay, and not saying at first, given that by way of the reaction of others, you're no longer excited. No. But just to again sort of trace the perception of your emotion here, right? That's the activity. Okay, so let's just say, right, you got this amazing idea, and it could be for a business, it could be a personal project, whatever it is, a partner that you wanna reach out to. Even let's say you tell 5 people, and they have a reaction. Okay, now let's say that. Let's just say it's 5 with a group of your friends, they're real close to you, and whatever else, and there's, certain types of experiences that you would have, with them over time. Now, whatever it else is, I'm hearing Elsie, I don't know what that's alluding to, like a gray, I don't know, Ella, Elsie Gray, I don't know, let's clear it, and let's say, they're like, oh, but wait, now they have a reaction, right? They respond to whatever it is that you also extend in a certain way, and they're like, oh, but wait, are you not gonna be like hanging out with us anymore? Like, does that mean like, so let's just say whatever the reaction is, okay, that it somehow interacts. Let's say your emotion is a chemical and their reaction is another chemical, and there's a reaction there, right? So now what you feel in relation to that, right, in a certain way, is a byproduct of maybe that interaction, right? Can we say it in that way? So, let's say that you happen to feel like, whoa, you happen to react to what they feel with another sort of sensation. It's like, well, oh my, okay, well, you're right. I guess technically maybe it would mean that we wouldn't be hanging out. I guess you're right. Like, and for a number of you, it can be especially tricky when, I'm giving this example. This is sort of blatant, right? It's like, oh my, you're going to leave us. Not everyone is going to say that, but that energy, emotion is energy. So when somebody, let's say, feels something, that emotion is emitted. It's a frequency, and that's why those who are very sensitive to energy fields, they can pick up on energy in an environment. It's not like they walk into the room, and it's like, hello, I'm sad over here, hey, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'm able to like put two and it's more the actual frequency that they're picking up on. And if you look at even like some people are able to really work with auras. It's they're able to pick up sort of emotion in the aura. So if you're highly empathic, right, you may find that from time to time it's like, I know that they're not saying anything, but I can feel that there is this almost like this resistance energy. I'm hearing that as well to what you feel. Now, it's so important to realize what's going on, because sometimes, especially if we're real sensitive, we can say, well, wow, yeah, maybe that's like not a good thing. I'm hearing that as well. Like what you feel, right? It's very important, I think, in this way, not to necessarily identify with what you feel others feel, because that is not really necessarily, I'm hearing, even their story. Wow, very interesting. So how many of you, just an example, how many of you, okay, let's just say, I wanted to do this, and you had an idea for something. Maybe you threw it out. Someone had a reaction to that. And you decided not to do whatever it was you originally wanted to do. Right? Okay, so just imagine that. And how many of you, like, at the end of that, maybe years down the line, you're like, man, like, in the end, like, they told me that I shouldn't have gone to that party because they wanted us to go to this other party together, and then in the end, it's like, we never even went to that party. It's like, how many of you recognize that what it really comes down to is leadership with what you feel. And the beauty of Pisces energy here with the full moon is that it brings us to culminate in that space of what we feel. And sometimes, you're right, what we feel can be that aggregate space of what everybody feels, a collective, it's a Pisces energy. But, at the end of the day, right, how do we find a space of leadership with that archetype when we say, I can direct that energy space? I don't need to feel in particularly the way that also others may express what they feel. Okay, so it's almost like, it's very interesting. I'm imagining the exchange of this energy space, almost like a room. Let's say that let's create, actually, like, I really want to draw this out. Let's just create like three rooms within like one room. Let's say it's like a house, and you have like three rooms that attach to one another, right? Now, I'm just going to draw it out here like boxes. Okay, real casual. Wow, you actually see the ephemeris more than you see the boxes. Here we go. The back of the ephemeris. Okay. Box 1, box 2, box 3. Now, let's say that, these are sort of connected by way of, like, let's say hallways or whatever else. Okay. Now, let's say you have signaling systems. I'm hearing it as well in this way. Signaling systems here. I kind of drew a little ovaloid shape connecting these boxes here. These two and these two. Now, let's say, somebody walks into box A. We'll just say, like, this is box A. Okay. And then we'll say that this is, like, box B, and then we'll say this is box C, right? Okay, so box A, somebody, let's say, walks in from the street, whatever. There's a street right here, so walks right into this room. They have something that they present to you. Okay, now, there is a sort of, I'm hearing, signaling frequency of that space. Yes, it does come down to boundaries, auras. I'm hearing that as well. So how many of you are I'm feeling some of you are maybe, you're tapping into the concept. This is about, almost like it's the installation of certain emotions. I'm hearing that here okay, so it's interesting what's coming through here. Well, I'll have to watch this one over. Okay, but box A, nonetheless, yeah, somebody walks in, right? They're like, okay, they're in that room, and they're emitting a certain frequency. Now imagine that is what's taking place. They are in a certain space, emitting a certain frequency. Now, okay, let's say that you are in box, not box B, but box C. Empaths that sometimes we say, well, we want to be really receptive to others. Sometimes it's difficult because empaths, they realize that they have that ability and that they can be receptive to others to a significant degree. So it's almost as if it's like, oh, but that's a good thing. Caring and caring and caring and caring, which is very Virgo as well. Okay, and we have a lot of Virgo here as well that we're timing out with, and it's very, very much a focus at this time. We are about to move into Mercury and Libra, probably within the next few hours. I haven't looked exactly at the ephemeris to that degree, but we're at 29 degrees right now in Virgo, so in Mercury. But anyways, and that's something else that I've, partly why I wanted to get on here. But to sort of connect, to connect on these concepts, but. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I can feel everything. So it's like almost like you gravitate towards that space. Now, just because you can, right? Just because you have $1 million, does it mean you have to spend it? Like, sort of feeling, right? It's like, you have these abilities to feel so much, but how is it that you channel and you diffuse actually that frequency of your character? It's like, if you're a singer, right? Are you just going to sing whatever anyone tells you to sing just because you can sing? It's like, that's your ability, that's your magic. And that's sometimes what troubles, actually, like, creative content creators that and I'm not saying this like an absolute, but like who let's say they have this like hobby and then it turns into a business, and then it's like it can even be from like a young age, and then they have to direct their ability through the lens of like another, and that could even extend into working for a company that you didn't create, and you just somehow don't align with a vision of, or however. It's like there can be that trouble of owning your magic, and that's what I'm hearing here actually with the ability of empathic work. Now let's get back into this, right? The visual exercise. So, okay, they're in box A, and let's see over here, you're in box C. Now, again, empaths who are really like, they have a hard time distinguishing themselves from others in the and it might not be consciously. This can be on a level where it's like, is it on an emotional level? Okay, so it's like the merging on an energetic level. Now, for a number of you, sometimes it could be to such a degree as well where, you may not actually notice that what you're feeling is not what you're feeling, but what another is feeling. So let's say you walk into a room and like suddenly you get this like really weird feeling. You're like, oh gosh, I was like so happy a minute ago, and like I walk into this room and like it's like a smell that you didn't recognize the starting point of. It's like, that's the way I can describe it. You walk into a room, you're like, oh yeah, so okay, now, but that's okay, and no judgment, right? I'm a Pisces sun, okay, it's taken a journey, right, to get to this point, to be able to, truly, it's an active process, and it's just about consciousness and awareness first and foremost. Now, I can't talk for everyone, right? Everybody has their journey, but and their way of working with energy. So, but anyhow, now box. Let's say you're in box C, right? Let's say you've okay. Well, you come in with your offering. I'm hearing that as well. I will be in box C. And box B will be the space of the understanding of what we create together with both of our perspectives. So it's like the space of balance, can we say? Okay, beautiful. With box B, it's almost like, what you bring doesn't necessarily define what I bring, and it comes down to boundaries. It doesn't mean that I don't care about you. It doesn't mean that just because I make a decision that's right for me, that I don't care about what's right for you, right? Okay, well, let's really think about that. So the concept of guilt is kind of interesting. And when we look at it from the lens of Virgo and Pisces, we really start to think of it in a new way, especially when it hits these high notes of, maybe coming to a point where we realize, I feel so much, and where does that take me? Is it in a way that I feel empowered? Also with my own direction and lead? Is my own direction and lead even relevant here in this space? Is it present? Am I doing what's right for me? Or, or how is it that I'm perceiving of also my needs? Is it through the lens of also the needs of others? And, sometimes can be kind of tricky. Everybody has their experience, but, at the end of the day, what's right for you is what's right for others. It's not the other way around. It's not like the garden needs to be tended to before the seeds, well, yes, but at the same time, it's not like, okay, look, what is the garden without the seeds, right? Okay, what if the garden were like, hello everyone, I need to be at altitude 500. Yeah, I'm just saying. Make sure everyone knows. Altitude 500, yeah, okay. I don't know what is altitude 500. It's like, okay, I'm imagining like a garden who has like a consciousness and is like, take it as well, very interesting. But let's say, okay, the garden is like, I want to be on the top of the mountain, maybe like not even. I want to be like higher than the mountain itself, and I want to just be like in the air suspended. And everyone's like, okay, well, garden, what about the dirt? What are you going to do about that? Well, I don't want to have boundaries to my gardens. I want to float. So I don't know, maybe my boundaries need to just be like kind of diagonally lit out. I don't know what that's alluding to, guys. Very interesting. I'm actually seeing like a box, soil garden, like where you plant your seeds, whatever. It's like I'm seeing that suspended in the air, but the the little wooden side of it is sort of like not usually it's like sort of staked to the ground. I'm seeing it like sort of sideways, like I don't know what that's alluding to. Okay, it could be specific message here for a number of you maybe even, but anyways, it's like no, I don't really want to define my boundaries really clearly. Maybe we'll do like one edge of it that way, one edge of it that way, whatever else. And then it's like let's say and I'm seeing like it's funny because I'm seeing there's a consciousness interacting with this consciousness, and it's like okay, well what about like the dirt? Well, we don't really need dirt. Let's just do water. Okay, hydroponic. Well, let's do a water garden. Okay, all right. Well, maybe we'll have some dirt on Monday. Maybe we'll have some dirt maybe on Tuesday. Saturday and Sunday, no dirt. No dirt in the garden. Let's excavate that out, and then it's like okay, now at the end of the day, right? What about the freaking seeds? What do the seeds need to grow, right? As well individually, and maybe for some type of plant, if you think about like these planets like Mars, whatever else, there is some form of life right on those planets because they are attuned to that particular life condition, right? It's like something maybe can grow something now. If you take a certain type of seed, right, that is used to a certain type of environment as well, or is particularly attuned, right? When you buy the little seeds to garden fruits and vegetables, whatever, on the back of the packet, it tells you, like, it needs this type of da-da-da, and da-da-da, and da-da-da, and da-da-da, and maybe, like, that is not, those conditions aren't suitable for growing, tomatoes, but maybe they are for eggplant. Every seed needs its own, particular, circumstantial sort of, I'm hearing emotional experience. Wow, very interesting. Okay, now for a number, and it's funny because they did those like tests with plants and things like that. When you coax plants with positive sentiments, they grow in a more healthy manner. It was something really cool. Some kind of study that they did. It's like crystalline structure of water and things like that. Where like they put plants in like two different rooms. One room they like spoke really like lovingly towards. Another room they were like kind of like whatever they were doing. And so it's interesting. The plants that were spoken really lovingly towards, the crystalline structure, I think, of their molecules actually changed, and so the power of intention and expression. So, anyways, but let's get back into it. Well, it's really interesting because let's say, right, that the seeds have different needs. Cute, and so it's like, how can you expect, let's say you bring like a family of seeds, they're all different types of plants, you bring them all to the garden, right? They all need to have, a different sort of experience. And, if the seeds were to say, well, I want to be in that garden, in the air, the thing with the no boundaries thing, where we're all just like in the garden, but it's like, then at the end, what is the garden? And it's like, the dirt on Tuesday thingy, but it's like that seed needs something different to grow, right? The seed will never become actualized necessarily. It always, it will be different in every situation. Hello, Mandy. Thank you for your donation. $5 on the block. $5. So sweet. So, cute emoji too. Ooh. All right, yeah. So for an overview, it's interesting, right? It's like you got to do what's right for you, right? It's like if you're living for the garden, right? You can create a garden with any kind of number of seeds. Any type of plant can create a garden. Right? The matter is, what do you want your garden to look like? And what is real for you? It's like, what are your needs? Because you're a seed. It's like, what do I actually feel right now? How many of you are like that type of person where you hang out with someone and they're like, hey, what do you want to eat? And you're like, well, I don't know, it doesn't matter. What do you want to eat? It's like, and I can say I've definitely had moments like that, where it's like, you kind of sacrifice, like, or maybe, like, you know what you need, but you kind of, like, again, like, you kind of, like, look for them, I'm not gonna, and then you end up eating something you don't want to eat, like, that gives you indigestion the next day, and it's like, how many, it's sort of, like, peer pressure with, different things, oh, come on, but it's, like, so cool, just try it, but I know that that's not good for me, and I know that that's not what I want to do, and I know that that's not what I want, sort of thing, so, yeah, but, anyways, it's, like, yeah, it comes down to, like, what are your needs, and it takes time to really recognize, really what they are. Sometimes it can be, if let's say again, you're very empathic, and for quite some time you have actively worked towards and within through the space of needs for others. For those of you maybe your life calling, is in the service sector as well. Like sometimes it can be really hard. Like you're in work mode almost all the time. It's like I don't even know what my needs are anymore. And if it's at that level, right, to actively take this period to sort of pursue that question really more seriously, where it's like every day I'm gonna set aside like 5 to 10 minutes. And I really do think it should be more than that. I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes a day. No, like it should be. This is an example, right? But it really should be more. It should really be more than that. All right, I'm gonna take time to really check in with myself, and process what my needs are right here, right now. What do I want to feel if I'm, let's say, not feeling good right now? What is it that I feel I need to feel better? That doesn't mean that that's what Samuel needs. Samuel L. Jackson, I'm here as well. And that's the danger of marketing as well. I'm going to come out and say this. Yeah, spirit guides really want to be talking about these bigger concepts here. The marketing. It's like, okay, you see XYZ person on television and they're like, hello, this is the best product and like you need to have it, you need to own it, okay, bye. Look at me, oh yeah, remember, like, look at me, just don't forget, like, it's about me. Like, it's not about you. It's not about anyone in relation to anyone else, actually, right? It's like, what's good for whoever that is, Samuel L. Jackson. Like, maybe there's some famous person in a commercial. It's like, maybe they're cool with whatever that product is. Doesn't mean that that's what's right for you, right? So it's like, marketing, you should be so careful with that, because, and not to strike fear, but like, really get into yourself and your space and see what is it that I feel. That's the magic, also, of intuition, because you can apply it to yourself. It's not just I intuit what other people feel. I hold that reflective experience with myself, and I acknowledge and I respect what I feel with myself. So, it's a two-way road that we really see with Pisces, and Virgo, the ability to help others really, really be in that space where we can say, I can give this to this person. I feel like I feel good about doing that as well. Where down the line, I'm not going to resent it, and I make this action, come full circle because I want it for us both as well. Coming to that space can really be quite a focus here when we are expressing ourselves to our potential, because our potential is that space of yes, right? When we think about Pisces transcendence, right, the sort of collective, but within that, like, you have to have yin to have yang. You have to have me to have also us, right? It's like I have to be acknowledged. I have to be respecting myself also to experience that emotion with others. So for those of you also who would like to, you're in that space of wanting to repair your relationship with people in your environment where you're like, it's just really dissonant. The energy somehow is just really dissonant. It comes down as well to what do I have with myself here as a relationship, if I were to call it that. And sometimes it needs to be called that. It needs to come to that point where it's like, oh wait, yeah, actually, yeah, wait, what is my relationship with myself? I just have so many relationships with other people. And sometimes it's like, that's, again, you have a really busy career, really busy job. Maybe, for example, a number of you have a huge family and you work with a lot of people in your family, whatever it is. I'm hearing that as well. You're, kind of like, you have a lot of so-called obligations, as it might be felt. But at the end of the day, sometimes we have to set that time aside and say, and that side aside, I'm here as well. And sort of really actually set the date, right? Actually be like, hey, today I'm going to like go on a date with myself. I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a date with myself. And I'm going to have this much time with myself and myself only. And alone time can be so, so precious, right? Especially when we're in these times where there is just so much intensity here in the air. And we're nearing Mars retrograde, so, we will kind of be working with the concept as well of our will, our sort of, our reactive sort of element as well to our nature, and everybody has that element in their birth chart, so, questioning how we react and how we respond also. Really, we kind of heard that will be on the 9th of September. Quite a bit of time until then. Not quite a bit of time. It's all relative, I guess. We have 4 days. relative to Mercury in Libra, which I think is more or less within the next few hours. Today here I'm filming this on September 5th, and Venus as well, Cancer, 29th degree. I think that will be going into Leo tomorrow. So fun. All right, love and light to you guys. Let me know how these astro talks are, if you're enjoying them. I might want to like organize it. I feel like, I don't know, I might be blasting like some people on the channel who are like, I'm not here for the astro talks, and it's like, but it's like fun. I don't know, I think it's awesome to do, sort of look further into the energy field and sort of prepare also from that perspective of astrology. Thank you guys so much for connecting and tuning in here to you. Love and light to you all here. Thank you guys for connecting on this soul path, life path journey with your potential. And remember that, everybody has potential in a number of ways. And it's up to you to actualize it, and only you know what your seed needs to grow to the length, to the level, to the degree that you know for yourself is possible. And, if anybody like sort of like knocks your ideas down, I'm hearing this as well. This is possibly a specific number for a number. I'm hearing that as well. Specific message for a number of you. Anybody who like knocks your idea down, remember, they don't actually know you, because you are your potential, and that may not already exist yet, right? We are constantly evolving. We can always prove again what is possible. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Light to you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.